Let's now move on to the next segment. We get to have a quick look at what the papers have for us today. I have a copy of the Daily Nation. I start you off with what has been featured here. Again, stories concerning fraud happening using SIM cards that have been swapped. Another story has been featured today, and this is the story of one Mr. Bashir, aged 58, who has lost a collective 2.6 million Kenya shillings over a span of 3 days from his mobile wallet as well as his dollar bank accounts. That is a story that happened earlier on in the year rather, but has only recently been concluded. So far, he has only recovered 500,000 and 1.5 million imepotea tu hivyo. Why? Somebody swapped his SIM card. I'll be giving you the details of that story in just a bit. The other story is in regards to struggling traders who can't pay loans worth 100 billion Kenya shillings due to the COVID-19 aftermath effects. This is a concern that was pointed out by the Central Bank of Kenya, and especially so in specific parts of the economy which include trade, real estate, manufacturing, as well as personal and household. These are the categories of the economy that haven't really been able to recover from the pandemic and have defaulted on so many of their loans, the obligations towards these loans. And this is a point of concern, and especially looking at where we are headed as a country, given this is a political year. Away from that, the main read on the front page of the Daily Nation: money, food and peace. What this election is all about. So here they go on to say that in every election, there's always a question, and this year it is no different. And this year, most of the people, according to a survey that was conducted, I think a month back, 64% of Kenyans cited, or rather felt that the country is headed in the wrong direction due to the fact that there is the high cost of living. Unemployment is also a big problem, corruption, as well as insecurity. And if these matters are not addressed by the politicians that are campaigning this year, then we are definitely still going to be going down that wrong direction as a country. I'll be giving you the details as per how this story has been captured, and especially so looking at the campaigning points of the presidential aspirants. Finally, Ruto to kill CBC in a raft of anti-Uhuru reforms. That is what this caption reads here. Looking at what they go on to say is that the deputy has vowed to roll back many of his own government's projects, including moving the inland container depot that is in Naivasha back to Mombasa. He also said that he will revise the CBC curriculum to remodel the management equipment service health project, as well as halting the bailing out of struggling state corporations and companies. And also a story that has been linked to UDA and the deputy president is the defecting of one of his most recent party members. That was actually the party vice chairman, Kipruto Kirwa, after he defected to the Azimio coalition. This and much more will be coming up in just a bit. Victor.
All right, so may the campaigns now begin. That's the message that is from the IBC. Of course, it began yesterday, 29th of May, and now the official campaign period is on. On the front page of the Star, truth moment as IBC officers clear hopefuls. Clearance is essential if aspirants want to run in election. And any skeletons? Nominees must meet legal and ethical requirements. We will be having that discussion briefly with our analyst here in studio. Eyes on Kalonzo as IEBC set date to clear him for presidential run. The Electoral Commission has set a date with Wiper boss Kalonzo Musyoka to formally register him as a presidential candidate, further fueling confusion about his political plans. More details again we'll be getting from Kevin Katisia, who is also in the Kalonzo. In 11 million shillings ghost school funding faces graft charges. This as clerical officers at the Education Ministry, who is accused of creating a non-existent school and channeling 11 million shillings to his account could be charged with corruption. That's according to anti-graft detectives who have so far asked the DPP to charge Joshua Momanyi Ocharo. All right. So I will transform Kenya in just one term, says Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga was speaking in Bungoma, where he said that he would need just one term to transform Kenya, even as he promised to revive the tobacco industry if elected. Raila, who has pitched camp in the western region for the last 5 days, asked the electorate to vote him to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta. Soccer fan dies after alleged attack by bouncers in Kilifi. That is according to the report here. 30-year-old one gentleman called Faisal Bushuti arrived at Lexo Lounge around midnight to watch the UEFA Champions League finals between Liverpool and Real Madrid, and he was denied access by the bouncers, and there were the scuffle ensued, and you can take a look at that story. Such a sad moment. All right, truth moment for aspirants is IBC begins clearance. The next 8 days will be a do or die for aspirants as the electoral agency begins clearing them to run in the August 9th polls. Yesterday, Justice and Freedom Party presidential candidate Justice Juma and his running mate, that is Anne Wavinya, failed to meet the threshold of 48,000 supporters. Chebukati gave him until June 2nd to get the required documents and reapply for fresh clearance. It will also allow them to officially hit the campaign's trail ahead of the election that is now only 70 days away. We'll be discussing this and more in the next hour during our discussion. So let me just give you a rundown. IBC program for some of the presidential candidates. On 4th of June, we have got Deputy President William Ruto, Kalonzo Musyoka on 4th of June. Raila Odinga will be there on 5th of June. Ekuru Aukot on the same day as well, 5th of June. Jimmy Wanjigi will join IBC on 6th of June. And lastly, Njeru Gathangu will be the last person on 6th of June. That is happening. Eyes on Wiper. Boss Kalonzo Musyoka as IBC books him a date that again we'll be discussing in the next hour. Regina.
Now, family said that yes, it's all about system failure, IBC. That is IBC system failure, jolt aspirants vetting. This is a concern that was raised by the aspirants there who noted up to 3 hours delay in their vetting there and validation of their documents. An exercise that began yesterday, being May the 29th, that is going to run up until the 6th of June. And Victor there has rightfully put it there and given us, important dates that we need to look out for, especially the question of whether Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka is going to be at the ballot in as far as matters of presidential candidates are concerned. Well, it's been confirmed now. Let's wait and see. 4th is the date Kalonzo Musyoka has with the IEBs. That is what has been captured here on the front page. And it all talks about lengthy hours across the country as technical delays marred the start of the clearance of aspirants by the Electoral Commission, prompting fears that the crucial exercise would spill past the gazetted June 7th deadline. And I want to quote Geshogo parliamentary aspirant Njage Makanga, who said, if this is taking too long for a candidate to be cleared, what about the election? That's a concern that was raised by the aspirants there from yesterday. And this is a continuous exercise up until the 6th of June, with the deadline that has already been gazetted being June 7th. Top gamblers. Will it work this time? This is picking up at leaders who have already chosen their candidates, and they have basically left everything else and focused on these particular campaigns. If their person or their choice gets the top seat, indeed, and then we're likely to see them in government. But what if their candidate does not carry the day? That is a story here. Top gamblers. Will it work this time? Some of the names that have been splashed on this front page, we have none other than Musalia Mudavadi of ANC, Hassan Joho, Mombasa Governor, Sabina Chege, Muranga Woman Representative, Rigathi Gachagua, Madira MP, and Wycliffe Oparanya of Kakamega, that is Kakamega government there. So we all know their stories there. Let's start off with Wycliffe Oparanya. This was the second time He could not run for re-election as governor of Kakamega, and he has been at the side of Raila Odinga for eons now, and his dedication has not waned to a point that when Azimio flag bearer there, Raila Odinga, was unveiling his deputy running mate, he also gave us a sneak peek into his would-be cabinet if he carried the day on August 9th. And Wycliffe Oparanya is likely going to be the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary if indeed Azimio carry the day. We also have Rigathi Gachagua, who is the deputy, who is the running mate under the Kenya Kwanza team there. We have Sabina Chege there, who even wanted to be, who was eyeing the deputy, or rather the running mate under Azimio. We know her having even had a stint right here in this particular setup here as far as KBC is concerned. She's rose through the ranks, and we have seen her efforts in as far as matters education are concerned. Hassan Joho, Mombasa governor, there even gave his speech there saying that he did not know that Raila would consider him and give him that position if indeed that goes through and Azimio carry the day. We might as well be looking at the new Lands Cabinet Secretary, that is Hassan Joho. Musalia Mudavadi, on the other hand, has thrown his die behind Deputy President William Ruto. With the Luya factor and his experience in politics, one would wonder, what if it doesn't go his way and his candidate doesn't carry the day? What happens? So this is a story that has been fleshed out for you in this particular daily. You might want to have a copy of it with just 71 days to the D-Day. Remember, IEBC is still registering voters locally. It's not the mass registration, but it's an ongoing process. So if you haven't, kindly do so. We also have a story of human interest here, where you are not the father of the child. This is an ex-husband who was told is that a man opposes a bid by former lover who wants a court order on a DNA test to prove he's not the father of the 10-year-old child. All these details are available in this particular copy. Remember, we also have updates on our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke. We are streaming live, and thank you very much. And this is not done and dusted. We have a candid conversation coming up in as far as matters politics are concerned with Victor Olo. I'm Regina Manyara. I wish you a pleasant day ahead and great viewing.